Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're talking about what it really means to be well-informed. And surprisingly, the answer isn't always in the facts you hold.
No, it's often in the words you use to express them.
Exactly. I've heard it said that words are the clothes your thoughts wear.
That's a great way to put it. And if you dress your thoughts in, precise, high-quality language, you just elevate the whole conversation. You immediately signal a much deeper understanding.
And that is the core mission for us today. We are pulling three very sophisticated descriptors from a fantastic stack of sources we called the word wardrobe, light and celestial skybound lexicon.
And these sources, they really focus on language that capture shifting light and transition and all those sort of beautiful, hazy mysteries we run into.
So we are dissecting the nuances of three specific words.
Luminous, crepuscular, and nebulous.
And the goal here is not just to, give you a definition. We want to move past the basic synonyms, the bright or evening or vague.
Right. We want to give you the insight that lets you tap into the genuine contextual power of these terms. Because understanding these subtleties, it's a shortcut.
A shortcut to true competence.
Exactly. When you use the perfect word, you're conveying a whole complex idea in an instant.
So let's unpack this celestial wardrobe. We're starting with luminous, which is a word that describes light, but a very specific, almost magical kind of light.
Luminous, that's Luminous adjective. And the dictionary definition is, well, pretty straightforward.
Full of or shedding light.
Right. Bright or shining, especially in the dark.
But see, the word bright is so common, and the source material really challenges us on this. We use bright for almost any powerful light source.
A flashlight, a stadium floodlight, a car's high beams.
And those lights they're piercing, right? They cut through the darkness from an external source.
And that's the key. What's so fascinating about luminous is that it carries this deeper resonance. The source really emphasizes that luminous suggests the glow that comes from within the object itself.
Ah, so it's generated from the inside.
Yes, or it's absorbed and then re-emitted. It fills the space around it. Rather than just shooting a beam through the darkness, the light is inherent.
That distinction, inherent versus external, that's critical. I remember as a kid being so confused by glow-in-the-dark stickers.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they were just reflecting moonlight or something.
Yeah.
But no, they were storing energy during the day and then emitting it. That's the difference right there.
Precisely. That is true internal radiance. And if we look at the physical examples from the sources, they make this so clear. A watch dial glowing in the dark isn't reflecting anything.
It's emitting.
It's emitting. And in nature, the moon on a clear night often seems luminous because its light feels so soft and encompassing. It has that quality of radiating into the whole environment.
And the source gave us that perfect biological example.
The deep-sea jellyfish.
The deep-sea jellyfish gave off a luminous blue glow, lighting up the dark waters around it like a floating lantern.
And a lantern is the perfect image. It doesn't cut a beam. It creates a field of light.
An active self-definition in the dark.
Which, that leads right to the abstract application, doesn't it? If the light is internal, then luminous can describe an inner clarity or truth.
So if a person's face is luminous when they're truly happy, it's not because the spotlight's on them.
No, it's an internal state of being just shining outward. It's joy made visible.
What a powerful metaphor. It's like an idea that is so fundamentally sound and true that it doesn't need any external validation. It just radiates its own clarity.
That's luminous.
Okay, so let's transition now. We're moving from inherent light to a light that's defined by its transience. Let's move to crepuscular.
Crepuscular. Crepuscular. It's an adjective, and it means relating to or resembling twilight.
I have to admit, I used to think of this word as just a fancy way of saying dusk. But the source material completely shifted my perspective. It's not just a time.
No, it's a specific light condition. It's defined by transition.
It's the visual experience of the blue hour, when the sun is gone but the sky is still active.
Exactly. It captures that unique quality of light when the atmosphere is scattering the blue light spectrum most effectively. The shadows are soft, elongated.
And the world gets that specific, almost purple or blue-gray cast.
It's that beautiful, brief period that sits between two certainties day and night.
And while that aesthetic quality is fascinating, what makes this word so powerful for you, the informed learner, is its primary use in biology.
This is the critical nuance. The word classifies entire life cycles. It describes animals that are most active specifically at dawn and at dusk.
So we have diurnal animals
Active during the day,
and nocturnal animals.
active at night. Crepuscular occupies that functional niche right in between, and you have to ask why.
Right, why then?
Well, the light levels are low enough to offer protection from larger predators, but it's often still warm enough for effective movement and foraging.
So there's a real functional advantage. You think of a deer or a rabbit or an owl, they capitalize on that uncertainty in the light.
They do. They avoid the intense heat and exposure of midday, but they also avoid the deep cold and visibility challenges of total darkness.
It saves you so much descriptive effort. You could say, the deer waits for the light to drop below the horizon, but before it gets fully dark to come out.
Or you can just say, the deer is a crepuscular animal.
One word. And it conveys the timing, the light condition, and the functional behavior.
It gives the conversation density.
The example sentence really captures it. We took a walk in the crepuscular shadows of the evening, watching the first few bats begin their nightly flight. It sets a tone, but it also describes a specific, biologically defined routine.
And this is a great place to pause and ask, why do these specialized words even exist when simpler ones like dusk or vague work just fine?
That is the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the simpler words are functional, but they're passive. They tell you when or what.
But crepuscular feels active.
Yes. It describes an intentional operational choice on the part of the animal or a specific defined state of light that is qualitatively different from full day or full night.
It's about utility. If a photographer says the light is crepuscular, they mean something very specific about shadow contrast and color temperature that just saying dusk doesn't capture at all. The word itself is a technical specification.
Okay, so if luminous is internal clarity and crepuscular is transitional ambiguity, our next word takes us into profound external formlessness. Let's look at nebulous.
Nebulous, Nebulous, an adjective, and it means in the form of a cloud or haze, or, and this is the more common use, hazy, vague, or ill-defined.
Now, most of us are familiar with that conversational use, right? If an argument is nebulous, we just mean it's unclear.
Sure.
But to really get the power of this word, you have to look at where it comes from. And what's so fascinating here is that the word comes directly from nebula.
That cosmic connection is absolutely crucial. A nebula is a giant cloud of gas and dust out in space. They're vast, they can be beautiful, but they inherently lack clear
I
boundaries.
can't just draw a line around it.
You can't. If you try to measure the edge of, say, the Orion Nebula, you can't because it just gets progressively more and more diffuse.
So the word is grounded in this astronomical idea of formlessness on a massive scale. And when we apply that to ideas, it means the vagueness isn't just a failure of explanation.
Right. It's inherent to the concept's current state. It literally hasn't condensed yet.
That's such a better way to think about it. I often hear people use vague almost to dismiss an idea. Oh, that proposal is vague.
It's a criticism, but nebulous is a more constructive critique. It acknowledges that the idea exists, it's complex, but it just hasn't gathered the critical mass, the details, the structure to become solid.
And this is so relevant for you, especially in a professional setting. Let's say you're in the planning stages of a big project. Your boss asks for an update, and the truth is the goals are still sort of floating around.
Yeah, not pinned down yet.
So why not just say the goals are vague?
Because vague can sound like incompetence. Nebulous suggests a stage of development. It implies complexity and potential, but it highlights the lack of definition as the current state, connecting it right back to that giant, formless cloud in space.
Using this word offers tremendous conversational precision. It signals that you recognize the problem isn't a lack of interest, it's a lack of structure.
And the example in the source material is perfect. At the start of the project, our goals were a bit nebulous, but after our meeting today, everything is finally coming into focus.
That phrase, coming into focus, is perfect. It's like the nebulous cloud is finally starting to condense under its own gravity, forming actual structures.
The word choice elevates the entire observation. It shows you understand the process of how ideas crystallize.
So let's synthesize these three. Let's pull the pieces of our celestial wardrobe together. We've covered a whole spectrum of clarity and definition here.
We really have. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, these words offer increasingly fine-grained ways to describe different states of clarity, or the lack of it.
Luminous is that sharp internal clarity, the truth shining out.
Crepuscular is that transitional ambiguity, the in-between state of light and understanding.
And nebulous describes the formless, complex, unformed state, that profound lack of boundary.
And the value here for you is just mental efficiency. Acquiring this vocabulary allows you to stop and classify specific phenomena instantly.
Instead of using 3 sentences to describe why a project is hard to grasp, you just classify it as nebulous.
Instead of a long description of the time of day and an animal's habits, you use the single descriptor, crepuscular. You save mental energy and you increase your conversational density.
So, to quickly recap those key nuances we distilled, for luminous, the light has to be internal or radiant. It has to fill the space.
For crepuscular, it has to relate specifically to that functional transition of dawn and dusk, or that very specific quality of twilight.
And nebulous is always rooted in that astronomical concept of a cloud or a haze, meaning its lack of clarity is structural, inherent.
It's not just a failure to communicate. And by choosing these precise terms, you're demonstrating a mastery of the underlying concepts. That light can shine from within, that time is a functional boundary for life, and that ideas, well, they start as formless clouds just awaiting definition.
That is the celestial wardrobe for today. Luminous, shining or glowing from within. Crepuscular, related to the beauty and functional activity of twilight and dawn. And nebulous, meaning hazy, cloudy, or vague.
You know, the sources challenged us to go out and notice crepuscular light this evening. I want to build on that, but with the intellectual application of nebulous.
Okay.
If you think about professional clarity, the greatest barrier to progress is often that a concept just stays in that gaseous, formless state. So as you reflect on the ideas you're pursuing right now, ask yourself this. How many important concepts or plans in your life are currently in a truly nebulous state? And what is the single minimum viable action required to apply enough intellectual gravity to take that idea and bring it into sharper, more luminous focus?
Food for thought. Thank you for joining us on the Deep Dive.